let's just start with the first one, which is why it can be really helpful and important to focus on prospect pain. And one of the real reasons why is because we as people are more motivated to fix what's not working well. And just looking at this image here, think about when you have a flat tire or your car breaks down, you are really motivated to fix that issue because it's really impacting you. Now you can think about it, there's other stuff you do to your vehicle where that when the vehicle might be working properly, like you might put air in your tires where your tires are working just fine, or you might rotate your tires. So it's not to say that the only time that you take action is when stuff breaks, just like it's not the only time that you can sell to your prospect is when they have a severe problem or they have an extreme pain. But the point here is that if you can find out that they do have a flat tire or they do have a problem in the area that you help with, meaning if you fix flat tires and you find out your prospect has a flat tire and you're able to make that diagnosis, that connection, then you can improve your ability to create a qualified prospect, create a lead, and sell to that person. As well, if you sell something that, if you're someone that fixes tires and you find that the people that you're talking to don't have any problems with tires, then with their tires, then you can identify that this isn't someone that I should invest my valuable time trying to sell to. Maybe not right now. I need to move on, and try to find those people that have flat tires. The key point here is that when there's a problem, that is something that people are typically motivated to talk about, to listen to, they're motivated to respond to, they're motivated to spend money on. And if you can solve that problem, they might be motivated to purchase your product. It might be easier to close the deal. And so that's why this can be helpful. Focusing on pain is also a good way to grab the prospect's attention. I know that salespeople use email a lot. We use email a lot to communicate with prospects. And one thing that people are always thinking about is, what is a subject line that I can use to grab someone's attention? What is a subject line I can use to get someone to read the email? We're dealing with prospects, especially if you sell B2B. You're dealing with prospects and typically decision makers that are extremely busy. They have a million things going on. They have a lot of different salespeople trying to sell to them. Not only you and your direct competitors, but also companies that have nothing to do with you are trying to sell to the same people. So it's really important to grab someone's attention. It's really difficult to grab someone's attention. And being able to focus on the pain that they might be having, the pain that you might be able to fix, is a way to improve your ability to grab their attention. I'm not saying that you're going to be able to just instantly grab every prospect's attention. This is one way to improve your ability to more consistently grab prospects' attention. Let me give you an example. Me personally, as I've gotten older through the years, I've started to have issues with inflammation. And when I'm on Facebook, like social media, let's say Facebook, and I see articles or someone sharing something and it says something about inflammation, I'm more prone to click on it because I have a pain in that area. Literal pain. The inflammation that I experience causes me physical pain. So it could be literal pain or it could be figurative pain, but in this case it's literal pain. And when I see the word inflammation, I try to see what that article is or what that video is, and I'm more likely to click on it because I connect with that pain. I'm motivated and interested in that area because that's a pain I'm experiencing. Now, just want to point out that 5 years ago, I didn't ever have inflammation issues. I didn't even know what the word inflammation really meant, if you really were to say something about it. And if I were to see those articles on social media, I wouldn't they wouldn't catch my attention. And so that's how using prospect pain can improve your ability to grab a qualified prospect's attention, because you're more likely to grab their attention if they have that pain. And you can apply that concept to emails, right, with subject lines or what you put in the emails. You can also apply it also to when you talk to someone, whether it's at a networking event or on a phone call. If you focus more of the conversation on pain, you can influence sort of that dynamic that I talked about, that I click on links for inflammation because I have that pain. So something to think about there. The other thing about pain is that it's an efficient way to explain what you do. If you think about the products you sell, it might be a mouthful, or actually probably more than that, to explain what your products are, what they do, the company you work for. And if you think about trying to take all that knowledge in your head and squeeze it into a little short period of time to explain to someone what you do, it can be challenging, especially if you're at a networking event, or if you're sending an email that you want to be very short, or if you're operating in a 2 to 5 minute phone call. But if you explain the problems that you solve, it's a good way to begin to explain what you do. Let me give you an example. So kind of going back to the medical area, I mentioned inflammation a minute ago, and actually a type of doctor that I've gone to for inflammation is an orthopedist, right? So uh, maybe a lot of the people listening to this might know what an orthopedist is. If you've never been to an orthopedist, then you might not know what an orthopedist is. Let's assume that you're listening to this and you don't know what an orthopedist is. Well, if I were a doctor, and a doctor really isn't a salesperson, but if I were selling orthopedist medical services, and if I were to talk about the practice and the different procedures that are provided and the different offices that are around and the different people that are the different types of doctors and practitioners that are in the practice, and all these details around the product, it could take a long time to explain all that, and you still might not understand, okay, why would I need an orthopedist? But if I change that to say, well, we provide orthopedic medical services, and the problems we usually solve with those services are, if we have athletes that have inflammation, they typically come to us and we can decrease their inflammation through different services and procedures. Athletes that have injuries from sports or different activities, they come to us and we either surgically repair or do some sort of procedure to repair injuries from sports. Now I'm going to pause. I'm going to stop there because we could go on, but you'll notice what I did there is I explained problems and that we help with that. And so that can be a quicker, more efficient way to communicate what you do. And so hopefully you can kind of connect where you could apply that to your product and think about the problems that you fix, and then that gives you another option for a very quick snippet of something to say to somebody when you're trying to explain what you do.